crew in their garage. Well, you know we've been working on the Jeep. Here's a playlist for it. This is paint day for the CJ paint day. And we're going to see how this thing comes out. I'm going to spray just a little bit on this tailgate, and we're going to kind of look at the color. This thing's got more metallic in it than Fort Knox. I don't know. It's really got a lot of metallic to lay down. But I think overall it's going to look pretty nice. Let's get going. Because all the metallic and the pearl and everything else in this stinking paint, I have shaken it, jiggled it for, I know, a good hour. So it should be pretty well mixed up. What you don't want is all that metallic in the bottom of the can, which would stink. Wow, well, it's mixed up well. It is, you can see the reflectiveness of it. It's black with just all this pearl and metallic in it, and we'll see if we can get it to lay down where it looks like something. We're going to have to see if we can get this to disperse well, everything else. That's the pain of metallic sometimes. But I'm going to mix up the color, the base coat, bottom. Alright, so that's kind of the first coat on the tailgate. When we were talking about doing this job with Devin and Kristen, I said make sure to go light. If you're going to go with a gray, go light. White's better, gray is okay, I guess, if you have to do gray. So they picked anthracite gray metallic pearl. And anthracite is the name for coal. So it's really, so it's a black pearl. Silver metallic. It's got silver and pearl in basically a black paint. So it's going to show every single piece of bodywork that's not perfect. I'm hoping it turns out okay. I would not have gone with this dark of a color. No way, no how. But it is what it is. Alright, so I got the first coat of base on, and if you ask me how I like this paint, I would say this metallic sucks. Yeah, it's not good. It's going to take at least 3 coats to get it to spread out like it's supposed to. There you go. It is all one color now, and it's starting to look a little bit better in finish. Let me just give you a little 411. The difference between a great paint job and a decent paint job or a Mako paint job or any other paint job is right in here. You see right here, I can see that you're going to see all kinds of lines and stuff at the bottom of that windshield. Right here, right into here. And why would that be? Well, it's prep. It's the prep work. It didn't have enough sanding, wasn't enough prep put on it. But I don't have time to spend 3 or 4 weeks on this thing. So we're going with that. But yes, absolutely, some of this could have been eliminated by a little bit more prep work. Now, finished product with the gloss on it and everything, we'll see how it turns out. But I can see, like, there's stuff that I'm going to be uber critical on to say, wow, that's a mess up, and that should have been different, and that could have been better. Obviously, because I know what I'm looking for, and most people may not even notice it. And that's kind of our goal, is hopefully at the end of this we won't see any of that, or we'll see very little, enough to notice. Sides look pretty decent. Tailgate looks good. Like I said, this is going to take at least 3 coats of paint, because the high amount of pearl and metallic in this paint literally does not cover half as well as like a solid color or even just a standard metallic. That pearl, it really doesn't cover very well at all. So I'm letting her flash out real good before we put our second coat on, and we'll see how she looks. Okay, I'm speeding up the filming a little bit. We're at the end of coat 2, and it's starting to look about one color. I can absolutely see every imperfection because I know what to look for, but it is looking much better. It's looking pretty dang good as far as the color goes. So let this flash off really well, shoot another good coat on it, and then hopefully we can clear this pig. Okay, so I've got 3 coats of metallic on it, pretty heavy coats, and it looks like I've got good coverage. Now on your last coat, you're going to want to pull your gun back, increase your pressure a little bit, and just really spray that metallic so you don't get like tiger stripes or anything in it. You want to kind of come back with your gun and just kind of go overall on that last little spritz, and that'll help disperse that metallic and the pearl and everything else. But I'm pretty happy with the way it looks now, so I'm going to let it flash out pretty well. Really the last thing that you want is for the paint to not be flashed out enough, and then your base coat to start floating around on the metallic. That's kind of crabby. Next stop is clear coat. Awesome. Okay, so I got the first coat of clear on, and on your first coat you're not trying to kill it, you just want to get a good coverage. It's not going to gloss out yet. If you do, then what you're going to have is a bunch of waterfalls, and it's going to run off the side because you can't really get it to gloss out on your first coat. But it's actually starting to look pretty decent, and we're going to let it flash for a few minutes, and then we'll put our second coat on. For the most part, this is going to look a lot better. Okay, it's got all the clear on it. It's starting to flatten out on the hood. I laid it really thick in there. If we have to, we can buff it and wet sand it down. On that windshield, I'm probably going to have to buff just a little bit in that, or just leave it. You know, I don't know how much you'll notice it, but I laid it in thick as a booger on this hood. So I'm hoping it'll just lay on down there and flatten out. Everything else looks really good. Looks 1000% better than it did before, so I'm happy. Last thing I get to do today is clean out my gun, man. Always go ahead and clean your gun really well when you're done shooting for the day. Get all that clear out of it. Because you've made an investment in your tools and you might as well keep them clean, right? Okay, I'm really pretty happy with it, to tell you the truth. Got a little bit of orange peel on the hood, but that's okay because I laid it in so thick. I knew I was going to get some. I make it thick enough where you can wet sand it down and buff out the hood, because that's my main concern when I do a paint job on a Jeep, is that the hood looks good. That's your focal point of just about every time you look at a Jeep. So awesome. I got probably ½ inch of clear. Not that much, but it's good. It's really, really thick on the hood. So we'll let it settle down, harden up, and then we can buff out the hood. Pretty much after that, everything else turned out nice. Fenders, grill. We'll have the big reveal of what it looks like after it's done. So, man, I'm thrilled. Pretty soon it'll be out in the sunlight and we'll take a good look at it after it hardens up. I'm David from the Redneck Garage. Keep turning wrenches.